Are you living in a low-lying area susceptible to flooding? Do you know where to find the nearest shelter? It's the hurricane or rainy season, as we commonly call it, a time that requires preventative action to keep you safe. Don't let your guard down. You are inside Jamaica Magazine for another Thursday, and I'm your host, Theodore Henry. Within the half hour, we recap the JCF Expo, tell you about a new financing grant for MSMEs, and so much more. The information will be worth your time, so stay with us.
Brethren, the road signs make the traffic environment safe. The green light means go. Red means stop. Amber also means stop. Yeah man, it don't mean you must speed up. And get this, even if the light's on green, when the traffic is thick, don't bother move off and block the intersection. And please, don't stop on a pedestrian crossing. Look out for children, the disabled and the elderly. Follow the signs so they all can arrive alive. Be a good road user. Obey the road signs and look out for each other.
Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Thursday, June 8, 2023. Minister of Legal and Constitutional Affairs, Marlene Malahou-Fort, is seeking to ease concerns regarding amendments to the Charter of Fundamental Rights and Freedoms as part of the constitutional reform process. Phase 2 of the Constitutional Reform Committee's work will review entrenched provisions for amendments to the Constitution as Jamaica moves to become a republic. But Minister Malahou-Fort says the Andrew Holness administration has no intention of colliding with individuals on what she describes as issues that make up the fabric of the Jamaican society.
As a nation, we have many problems, many problems, and we're going to have to work out these problems. We're going to have to hear from each other because we're going to have to learn to live better with our differences. But this Andrew Holness-led administration is on no path to collide with the church or any other well-thinking member of the Jamaican society on issues which define the fabric of our society, even in the presence of challenges.
The minister, who was making her sectoral debate presentation this week, sought to reassure concerned stakeholders.
And let me put to ease those people who wonder whether we are going to change the savings clause, whether we are going to repeal pre-existing laws for which the church, which has been the moral vanguard of the society on many fronts, is particularly interested in.
A new specialized police operational base is to be established in Montego Hills, St. James. This is expected to provide enhanced security and improved response time for residents in the community and surrounding areas. Commissioner of Police Major General Anthony Anderson made the disclosure during a stakeholder engagement at Round Hill Hotel and Villas in Hanover on Tuesday. He says a space has already been identified to construct the facility, which forms part of the Jamaica Constabulary Force's plans to pump more crime-fighting resources into Western Jamaica. Major General Anderson says the new base, with its strategic location and advanced facilities, will serve as a central hub where officers can engage with residents and business persons more effectively.
One of the benefits of that is that it increases the levels of interaction between our officers and the public they serve.
Major General Anderson says focus is also being placed on increasing the Hanover Police's mobility, specifically their motorcycle-based quick response capacity.
Now that at the moment is very minimal in Hanover, but I believe everywhere we have put it, it has been effective in controlling and curbing certain types of crime, and our ability to respond to incidents that are unfolding has increased significantly.
On a wider scale, he says the JCF is also looking to increase the number of police personnel in hotspot areas in the West and across the country. A new batch of recruits will be graduating this Friday, strengthening the human capacity of the force. Minister of Health and Wellness Dr. Christopher Tufton is again urging Jamaicans to practice healthier lifestyle choices to reduce illness and death, as data indicates that the country's life expectancy rate is declining. Data from the ministry point to diabetes, stroke, hypertension, and cancers as being among the leading causes of death in Jamaica. Dr. Tufton says it is time for people to improve their lifestyle practices to prevent and combat these non-communicable diseases, NCDs.
Younger people are getting ill earlier. Younger people are dying earlier. And the curve is now like this. And we need an expose that tells the country in the simplest possible way that with all the progress that we are making, we're going to have to get back to basics. Physical activity, proper nutrition, rest, cutting on the salts and the sugars and the fats, the tobacco, the alcohol. All of these things are perhaps more important than what you could write on a prescription pad.
The minister was addressing the opening ceremony for a state-of-the-art 128-slice computed tomography CT scan suite at the University Hospital of the West Indies, UHWI. The suite was installed at a cost of $128 million. The Ministry of Tourism, the Inter-American Development Bank, IDB, and a cross-section of tourism stakeholders are collaborating to develop a sustainable tourism strategy for Jamaica. Portfolio Minister Edmund Bartlett says the strategy is to be a key driver of Jamaica's economy and will focus on community enrichment and human development.
For every movement that the human makes across planet Earth, it carries with him a demand for something. For some good, for some service. And so our job now must be to supply those goods and those services. So our strategy has to now be to strengthen the capacity of our people, our local people, to supply those goods and those services.
Minister Bartlett was addressing the first Tourism Strategy Development Workshop held last Friday at the Montego Bay Convention Center in St. James. The IDB's Chief of Operations for Jamaica, Lorenzo Escondior, who was also at the event, said effective public policy would increase tourist spending and boost private investment.
Effective public policy will also reduce the sector informality, strengthen job retention, reduce the gender gap in the sector labor market, and reinforce human capital.
And finally, the dairy industry's new product development and innovative procedures resulted in a nearly 10% increase in fresh milk production last year. 12.4 million liters of milk was produced in 2022, 1.1 million more than the 11.3 million liters in 2021. State Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining, Franklin Witter, attributes the progress to the Jamaica Dairy Development Board's continuing programs and operations which are aimed at promoting the production of high-quality milk. It is also being done to accommodate the rising demand for fresh milk on the market.
The Dairy Board has completed the first year of National Livestock Generic Improvement Program and is currently in the second year of activities. This project is available to dairy, beef, and goat farmers. So as we see the improvement, I implore us to continue in terms of our new innovations and practices. As the market for fresh milk steadily increases, we can be confident that the state of the dairy industry is in safe hands.
Mr. Witter was addressing a World Milk Day function held at the Sydney Pagan STEM Academy in St. Elizabeth. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.
Nutritious food, succulent dishes, superior workmanship, and excellent service. Jamaica is on the go. Let's grow what we eat and eat what we grow. Let's harness the indomitable spirit of our most valued resource, our people. Let's support our local businesses. After all, buying Jamaican means building Jamaica.
The recent staging of the JCF's Transformation Expo captured the attention of citizens. It facilitated one-on-one interactions with officers, gave persons a greater insight into the different functions of the JCF, and fostered a greater appreciation for these first responders. Here's a recap.
So we have never done it before, and I think it's a beautiful concept.
The medical services branch is actually extremely important because we focus on the health of the police officers.
They don't know that we do sketches, we do ID parades. The technology sections, they don't know about us. So this is like educating the public so they can better utilize the JCF.
The 4-day show-stopping exposition of the Jamaica Constabulary Force, JCF's work, grabbed the attention of the public, who came out in their numbers. The event displayed the advanced integration of technology into the day-to-day operation of the police force. It demonstrated how the men and women of the JCF are embracing and employing these technologies. Take, for example, creating a digital facial composition of suspects.
The time you take to create that image depends on the witness memory.
And having a digital database to facilitate ID parades. These techniques are very integral in the crime-fighting process to solve cases.
Before, there were instances where persons had to go to the cells to pick out that perpetrator. And you know how intimidating that might have been to be faced with thugs. But now we have what we call a ProMat system, where we put the identification parade on the computer, as you see being displayed on our computer here. So you no longer are required to see that person physically, but you actually look on a computer and pick out that person from a lineup.
Then there are the body cameras that are worn by officers to capture interactions or altercations with the public. These devices are designed to give real-time information while on location, sending first-hand signal straight to the command center. The interaction was much different at the Weapons and Tactical Training Unit. The weapons and devices on display tell another level of specialized training officers on the front line must undergo to use these tools with precision.
Starting with this one, this big one, everybody is always fascinated with this one. Everybody. So this is the Barrett 50 caliber rifle. This is not really used to shoot human beings, but it's used to disable vehicles, crafts, boats, destroy material, walls, buildings, those things.
This is one of the most visited booths, and while persons would have loved to hold one of the firearms, the less lethal devices were best suited.
The JCF teaches us what is called Plan JM, so the force must be proportionality, right? We're talking about proportionality. So it all depends on the level of force that the suspect is using. You determine, the officer, which level of force you can use to subdue that suspect.
Another level of training on display is the ability to detect the smuggling of narcotics and weapons. And no matter how creative the ideas are, in Bibles, Bulla, you name it, these officers will find it. They have a 95% success rate. The Inchai private eyes are also very skillful at detecting counterfeit documents, currencies, and apparels. Meanwhile, on the seas is another set of officers protecting our borders from transshipment and transnational crimes. The Transformations Expo also exposed the softer side of the JCF, such as the personal relationships formed at the community level through the Community Safety and Security Branch. The other areas were the medical and chaplaincy units, taking a holistic approach to the welfare of these first responders.
We do counseling, we conduct devotions, we plan seminars for our members, We also offer CISD, that is Critical Incident Stress Debriefing, whenever time a member is in shootout, just to alleviate the repercussions of stress. We debrief those members. We also do weddings, funerals, and we not only cater to our members, but the family of our police officers.
So it's not only the physical health, we focus on the mental, emotional, psychological health. Because a police officer comes under stress, extreme stressful situations daily, and we're there to assist them to be healthier individuals.
And you can see why. The SWAT team is always ready to respond to high-risk situations, and the forensic team combs through crime scenes and use high-tech equipment to analyze the data.
Physical evidence does not lie. So when a crime scene is processed for physical evidence, it has to be done in such a way that the integrity of the evidence is maintained throughout that entire process. Because when the witnesses will fail in terms of what they would have perceived, or if they would have manipulated the information in some other way, the physical evidence does not.
It's a clear indication of the advances we have made in modernizing, digitizing, and transforming the force for good into a technology-driven 21st century police.
I think we can compete with almost any other country in terms of our law enforcement effort and the technology that are now being introduced within the JCF and the quality of people in terms of their competencies and their capacity. We do have that as a force.
Further evidence of this is at the technology booth. Here we see firsthand the use of facial recognition CCTV cameras clearly capturing persons as they enter the arena. The cameras are also able to detect license plates, vehicle types, and models. These high-tech devices are part of the Jamaica Eye network of over 800 cameras placed at strategic locations across the island. The use of drones is also part of the specialized operations of the police force.
As you look at the capabilities being displayed by the JCF, you will realize that it is not a PR stunt, that everything that you see displayed here represents a threefold increase in the capital budget of the JCF in the last 8 years.
Most people have interactions with us is when they're having a bad day. This is an opportunity to see the humanness behind that face of the police, to share in that humanity, to share in the journey.
The overall objective of the expo was to reinforce public confidence that the force is equipped to ensure safety and security. At the same time, the JCF is signaling to criminals that it has the resources to go after them. So what's the takeaway from such an extraordinary event that was conceptualized and executed by the men and women of the JCF?
I think the expo is very good. I mean, it seems that the JCF is very advanced technology-wise. And I mean, with all these things that I've seen thus far, I believe our crime rate should definitely be less.
Everybody is saying that the JCS is not doing this and not doing that, and we can't control crime or anything, but this is an eye-opener.
I'm glad that the public now get a better understanding of some of the things that we do, because sometimes we are underrated. But now they will understand that we are not the old antiquated police force. We are now a modern police force going through a process of transformation.
Persons are really surprised at the technology, the knowledge and the skills that we possess and the extent to which we actually process crime scenes here.
Well, as you can observe, based on the setup, you can see that there are a lot of bright minds in the JCF. We are here, bright people. We fit in anywhere in the world.
We want people to know that the JCF, we are a part of Jamaica. We are from Jamaica. We are from you, the community. All we require is your help, your understanding, your trust, partnership. That is all we ask.
So we want you to know that the force is a force for good. It's somewhere that you need to join. Encourage your children. Encourage your neighbors to come and join us. There are many different avenues, many different ways you can serve the force.
Jamaica Eye can help you protect our citizens.
Jamaica Eye will play a part in increasing your public safety.
Jamaica Eye is part of an island-wide network of camera surveillance systems designed to increase the safety of you, our citizens. If you have a camera system outside your home or office facing a public space, log on to jamaicaeye.gov.jm today. Jamaica Eye, we're all connected. The Ministry of National Security, creating a safer and prosperous Jamaica.
Jamaica, along with the rest of the world, have been feeling the effects of high and rising inflation. Bank of Jamaica is the institution in Jamaica that is mandated by law to actually manage inflation. And so in that regard, we actually responded very swiftly and very early and very decisively to the increased inflation that we've been seeing, which was actually spurred by rising inflation globally. And of course, Jamaica is open and we rely a lot on imports for not just production purposes, but also for consumption purposes. Now, as a result of our policy actions, along with the fact that we have been seeing a lowering in the prices of some international commodities over the past 10 months or so, we have been seeing a general reduction in the rate of inflation. The inflation rate last year, April, actually peaked at 11.8%, but it fell to 9.4% in December. And the latest information as of February, published by Statin, we saw where the inflation actually fell further to 7.8%. But at 7.8%, this rate of price increase is actually still too high and is above the bank's inflation target of 4% to 6%. However, the good news is that inflation is on a downward path, and Bank of Jamaica is cautiously optimistic that inflation will return to the 4 to 6% target range by the end of this year.
The government continues to provide innovative and strategic access to financing for micro, small and medium-sized enterprises, MSMEs. The latest is the growth and expansion of MSMEs through innovation, or Gemini project. It's a grant program being facilitated by the Development Bank of Jamaica, and let's hear now about the services being offered and how you can apply.
The VTA program has taught DBJ a lot. We do recognize in times we have to pivot from our experience, and using the lessons learned, we chart a new course. Following the lessons learned, we have now developed the Gemini program. This program is designed to support the growth and development of MSMEs, enabling them to improve their operational efficiency, enhance their marketing competitiveness, access finance, and ultimately increase their chances of success. This program, as highlighted, is a strategic partnership between the DBJ and the JBDC, and especially its network of small business development centers, SBDCs, that are spread across the island. MSMEs onboarded on this program will be assessed. A work plan will be created by the JBDC to support and move each MSMEs along the business life cycle. All MSMEs accessing the Gemini program will be assessed, tiered and placed in one of 4 business development programs that are currently executed by the JBDC. MSMEs will benefit from closer guidance, hand-holding and training in addition to the specific needed grant support. For example, their business plan, their financial statement, or digital services. Under the Gemini program, DBJ and the JBDC will also work to expand its registry of consultants, business development services, to better provide the diverse skill set and services needed by the MSMEs. A key component of the program is the assessment of the MSMEs to ascertain their needs and address them to increase their capacity. The JBDC network consists of 14 SBDCs, which are located island-wide. MSMEs will be able to receive technical assistance no matter where in the island of Jamaica they are. The DBJ will support each MSMEs by covering up to 80% of the cost of the program that has been developed by the JBDC. I'm happy to advise that interested MSMEs can now apply to the program via www.dbjgemini.com.
Then that will be channeled through JBDC. Robust assessment will be done. Appropriate program will be developed accordingly based on where you are and facilitate your movement from point A to point B. That'll be priced and then implementation will begin. So the eligibility criteria include the following. Is that with the companies of Jamaica, 51% owned by a local entrepreneur, valid TRN. In operation, there is a commitment letter that will be a part of the engagement to be a member or a client of the network. The initial target is 100 MSMEs for the hand-holding component of it. However, we anticipate that up to 1,000 MSMEs will participate in various aspects of the program over the period of the year. There is going to be a robust assessment of the needs, and from the robust assessment and that gap assessment, we call it an enterprise development plan that is done, specific needs would be identified, specific gaps would be identified.
We have gone through the whole program as it's designed, and we are now very confident that we are at the point where we have a worthwhile, robust program that our MSMEs will benefit from.
Let us all continue to collaborate and support our MSMEs as they play a key role in the economic growth and development of Jamaica.
Next part I show them cut it. Talking about that, listen to this. Pen sends a message. Disaster do happens. Be prepared. The municipal corporation reminds us of hurricane, earthquake, flooding, you name it, and preparedness.
Mommy, we really have to take this thing seriously.
Mommy, where's the emergency shelters?
Samir.
Primary school, churches, community centers. Know your nearest emergency shelter. Protect your family during any natural disaster. Be prepared. Visit the ODPEM website at odpem.org.jm to find the shelter listing for your parish. Know your emergency shelters.
We have come to the end of our show for today, but join us again tomorrow when we bring you another informative program. In the meantime, stay connected via our website, jis.gov.jm. And while you're online, send your feedback to Jamaica Magazine at jis.gov.jm or via tweet at JIS News. You may also find us on all the major social media platforms and through our mobile app that's both Android and iOS compatible. On behalf of the production crew, I'm Theodore Henry. Take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.